Right. I'd like to bring this, the committee to order. 71522, declaration of any disposable pecuniary interest. No? No? Okay, great. 71622, we have a full congestion, don't we? We do, so no absences, thank you. 71722, to confirm the minutes of the last committee meeting up to the 20th of October, 2022. Yes.
Something I noticed, it said that there was an action to have half and quarter plots, but I thought the agreement was not, I can't remember what the agreement was to have, whether have quarter plots or not.
I thought we didn't agree to quarter.
Yeah, but it says in the minutes, it's, I think I proposed it to have half and quarter plots. I can't remember. I didn't print it.
Just got quarter plots just on.
Yeah.
We have from Berry Road and Mumford Road. Yeah, not many.
Yeah. But we agreed to keep them, didn't we, right now? But not to add to them is what I thought we agreed. Okay. Any other questions on it? See if I've got the right one here. Okay, so are we in agreement with the minutes? The last minutes. Okay. Move the minutes. Yep, okay, that's it. Yeah, okay, 718, committee officers update.
Okay, so to update from the last committee meeting concerning notice to quit to 24 allotment tenants has resulted in 5 of these tenants having a notice revoked after they've achieved a vast improvement to the standard of their plot. Or in other cases, if the tenant was found unwell, we've given them extended time, 6 months. The total number of relinquished plots has been 6 in total. The main priority of work that has been carried out on site during the past few months has been clearing and bringing up to standard of the vacant plots, and this has been mainly at the Mumford Road. At present, there is 15 plots available, and these consist of 10 full plots, 4 half plots, and 1 quarter plot. The Berry Road allotment site is in full occupancy. The allotment waiting list stands at 55 applicants. Since the last committee meeting, 30 applicants have been contacted, resulting in 18 applicants going forward with the offer. During December, there was a reported incident about the Berry Road site regarding the site boundary fencing adjacent to the main gate at Mill Lane. It was reported that the fencing was cut to gain access to the site. The fencing has since been repaired by the works team. Ideas to provide further security could be planting of fawn-type hedging. A yearly maintenance plan has been put together for all sites. An example contained within this report is to repair the work needed at the entrance of the Berry Road allotment site, where the track has badly eroded away, and the proposed action is for the works team to lay type 1 base material, which should happen before the end of this month.
Okay. Okay, financial report for the 11th month ending the 28th of February, 71922. Oh, right, yes, sorry. Yes, I've just been reminded. Has anybody got questions on Carl's report? Hardly include committee. Thank you. Okay, no, thank you very much. So we'll move on to 71922.
In terms of the financial reports, our income is up quite substantially for what we budgeted, and it has been due to the increase in the rate of allocation that we've had this year. We've really achieved a lot. We've turned plots out, where plots have become vacant, we've actually managed to clear them, and that's where Carl spent a lot of the majority of his time, and we've actually been able to reallocate them. So overall income is significantly higher by about £1,600. In terms of expenditure, this committee has spent significantly lower than budget for the last few years. You'll see that in total, we've only spent £2,500 on direct allotment costs. That excludes salaries, wages, and other water, utility charges, which are allocated somewhere else. So we budgeted to spend about £8,500. You'll see that in the green column on the very right-hand side. We've actually just spent just under £2,500. And the little analysis at the bottom just shows what that's made up of. The majority of expenditure is on taps and keys, boundary posts, and those two. And then we've done special plot clearing, which is where we have to hire skips or we have to get rid of asbestos that we find on the sites. Those costs come in underneath there. So again, we've got quite a significant underspend. Where the pest control is one issue that we're just dealing with at the moment. It's a significant problem at Mumford Road. It's a lesser problem, but still significant at Berry Road. And we're just going out and getting quotes for that at the moment because those costs seem to have gone up quite substantially from previous years. So we're just going through that particular process to get quotes. And then depending on the expenditure level and whose mandate that falls under, that contract will be awarded. But it runs from February to February. So most of those costs will sit in next year's budget rather than in this year's budget. But otherwise, there is a low level of expenditure. One of the things that we're very conscious of is that we don't have significant maintenance costs in here. There's a projects budget, which is the next item on the agenda, and it's how do we start spending money on our allotments to get to a preventative maintenance process rather than an emergency maintenance process. And we haven't done very much routine maintenance. So the plans that Carl has talked about earlier on, he's gone and done plans for that. We're just going through them as a management team. And then what we'll do is we'll start prioritizing them, bring them back to the committee and say, for this particular year, this is what we actually aim to do as some of our routine preventative maintenance projects. But overall, the committee will have a significant underspend going forward to the next financial year.
Does the committee have any comments on that? No. Well, oh yes, Jenny.
I'm not a committee member.
No, but
Mr. Chairman, but I do have a couple of things. The allocation of allotments that are going forward for the Mumford Road are potential tenants being informed that it could be a short-term position. Also, I thought the last year of the allotments, like previous allotments in, there was money put by, weren't there, for complete clears of all plots to get them into shape for letting. Is that what the underspend is? Is that took into that account, or it's just underspend from May this year, last year? Sorry.
I think, if I can answer, what we've done is there's been a restructuring of the works team. So Carl is now a member of the works team rather than just being an allotment officer. And so what happens is when we need plot clearing, we actually, the whole works team go and do it. So we are still doing plot clearing. In fact, I think there's been significant amounts of plot clearing, and those costs are sitting in elsewhere, these salaries and wages costs. We're not sitting down and allocating those costs out to allotments. To answer your other question, people that take out new allotments at Mumford Road do ask about the feasibility study, and that we just tell them what we know, that there is a feasibility study happening. We don't know what the outcome of that feasibility study will be, and people, there's no decisions made, and that's where we sit at the moment.
And and it's not having a dig at the Thetford Town Council, but we know that feasibility study is a cross to get going. It's actually been marked in the Breckland plan. And I think either side of it, it's got 1 to 2 years for putting in place, that the Mumford Road allotments are going. We know that. I sat and asked the question at the full council. By rights, all the Mumford Road allotment holders are actually living on a thread because they have to plan their pre-planting. So and I think it's only respectful to other prospective tenants is that they are actually told that their plot could last only maybe at a 4-year stay. It is in the Breckland plan. It was passed by the Thetford Town Council on the 28th. Mumford Road allotments are going. I don't know why it keeps being whitewashed. We don't know what the feasibility is. We know they are going. It's in the Breckland plan. And I asked the lady, are you taking the whole of Mumford Road allotments? And she said, yes. So we need to be more open and honest with our allotment holders up there to say this could only be a short-term let of 2 to 3 years. Sorry, I'm not going to go at town council.
I've attended all the meetings and my understanding is totally different from Jenny. I don't know why. As far as I'm concerned, as a councillor, there's a feasibility study. Until that feasibility study comes back, there are no knowns. We don't know if they're going or not. We don't know what they're going to come up with. We had the presentation from the 2 girls from Breckland District Council, and they said, this is what our plan is. We need to have plans in place because we're not going to have the luxury of people throwing money at us. We have to bid for that. So we need to be prepared for anything. So it's, although there's a plan in place, it's like cherry picking. You know, when money comes available, you say, well, actually, we've got this plan. We can bid for that funding. So it's not a done deal, even if it is in the plan. So that was my understanding from the meetings I've attended.
Yeah, I agree with Jenny that it'd be a good idea to warn tenants that there's a possibility that their allotment may not exist for long term. But I disagree that it's a done deal. I mean, it definitely is not a done deal because this council has to make a decision to dispose of the allotments before it's a done deal. The fact that Breckland have it in their plan is something I think the Tullet has outlined that adequately, so I don't need to add to that.
Yes.
I voted against a Breckland plan. I voted against a feasibility study. I'm not totally convinced I agree with Jenny on the timescale. I don't remember picking up the 2-year piece. I remember it coming forward and it could very well happen. There are lots of other options, but the town council does not have the right to sell those allotments off. It has to go to the Ministry of State. We can't do it. The Minister of State, is that correct? They have to. Yeah. So we can't go there
until we've made it.
Yeah, you know, we have to go for the right procedure. But I think it's right that anyone who's going to take on an allotment has to be warned that sometime there is a feasibility plan going on, and sometime in the future, which I must admit I didn't pick up on the 2-year bit, it could happen. I also have another plan under finance, if I could. Doing the right underspend now, will we be able to put the fencing in on the very road, 9 Mill Lane houses? On the next bit.
I think we'll deal with that as a because that would be a significant project rather than an ongoing routine expenditure.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a shame that we haven't spent our money this time because we have the lowest budget on the council. And so I think we should have utilised our money better. So, but that may be partly my fault on that one. So
I just would add, I think just in terms of my interpretation of the meeting, I was sitting over there, and record the meeting. So I it wasn't that the reason it was included in the Thetford master plan, this piece of paper here, was because they had to get the oven ready in case it happened. And the lady confirmed that the feasibility study for the allotments has to come back to this council, and this council have to vote on the results of the feasibility study. At that stage, this committee would then be obligated to inform allotment holders of what would happen, because if the council accepts the feasibility study, then it has an impact on the allocation of allotments. Until that stage happens, we're speculating. Councillor Hollis has put out the timeframe. If we had to go around the table, I could give you what I think, if it does happen, what the timeframe would be. It's all going to be very different because it's actually very, very fluid. But this committee would be very remiss to look people in the eye and say, here you are, here's an allotment. Oh, by the way, we're going to take your money, but we're going to take the allotment back in 5 or 6 months because we don't know.
Councillor Hartless.
Yeah, sorry, you've got a copy of the feasibility there,
No, the
separate plan.
Brecon plan. This is.
Yeah, because I can't find it at the minute.
Yeah.
If you look on where it says allotments and that, or one I've got sent on my other thing, it does say time